Oh,
I think we're
it is
going.
recording. You're
Yeah.
right. Okay, and then live stream. So I think that's the one that we want to worry about. Is this one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It won't show like how much time. Yes, it will. Okay. Hello and welcome, Shun Lee. Thank you so
very
much for being here.
You bet. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. And a few technical difficulties, so he's been very patient.
It happens.
So welcome to Be My Guest with Erica Taraya and Shun Lee. And he is, well, I don't know if you saw the little announcement of what I put, who you are. But I literally was going on and on. Writer, director, coach, lawyer, actor. Pretty much, right?
Yeah, my business card is like 4x4. So,
So tell me a little bit. You started off with acting, correct?
If you want to be really technical about it, I started out as a lawyer.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, as
Thank
a career.
You. Yes, tell me.
Back in the Midwest, I was a lawyer. And,
okay.
I was practicing law in Omaha, Nebraska for about 5 years. And sneaking out during lunch to go do auditions as an actor. And I was doing a lot of stuff in music, a lot of songwriting, a lot of performing there in the Midwest.
Great.
A lot of mentoring, that sort of thing. So, yeah.
You were singing?
I was singing and playing a number of instruments. And, yeah. So,
talent. Amazing.
Just, I get bored easily, I guess. So.
Or put it that way, but it's talent. So you started off that way, and then what brought you into the acting?
It's something I did back in high school and in college, and I was just missing it. I was missing the opportunity to get up on stage and just, make an idiot out of yourself, which is what us actors do. So I found an agent and just started getting out there and doing the auditions and started landing stuff and thinking, boy, I kind of like this. So, I got back in the swing that way.
Great. How long did you do that for?
There in Omaha, it was for a little over a year.
Okay.
And then by that point, I was kind of like thinking, really, I'm single. I have no kids. I might as well go to Hollywood and give this a shot. And,
sure.
So I've been out here ever since, acting out here and writing and producing.
So you're still doing the acting? Still
doing the acting. Yep, still doing it. Still get out there.
So several years now.
Yeah, a number of years, and it's been great. Member of SAG-AFTRA, and just doing all the stuff us actors do.
Yes.
So.
Well, I didn't even realize you're doing that as well because you're so active with your writing.
Yeah.
Tell us about your writing.
Oh, I've written pretty much all my life. It was always kind of a very natural thing, a natural outlet for me. And so, but right now I'm writing a novel.
Okay.
I finished a book last year, which is a kind of a devotional book for creative people, and particularly people of faith. And so that's called The Saints and the Poets. And that got released
tell us about that.
in around Thanksgiving of 2016. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. So that's your current project.
The current project is a novel that I'm working on, and it's a labor of love. It's something that's been going on for a long time. So,
and that's usually the case, right?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, there are some people who can churn out all sorts of stuff very quickly. I've been working on this book now for 5 years, so it's
5 years.
Everybody has their own pace, and I write every morning from about 7 in the morning till noon.
I knew that you did that, and you're very disciplined. I'm checking this because it's saying offline, and I had a feeling it wasn't. This one seems to be going.
I think
this
so.
One is not. So just kind of want to make sure that goes. Chat. Do you have any idea?
I've never done it before.
Okay. So normally the software is what I rely on. So since this is rolling, we're going to say that it's working.
It works for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So labor of love, 5 years.
Yeah, give or take.
Okay.
Taking a few breaks in there to write some scripts and things that I needed to do, but I've been doing this particular book that still doesn't have a title yet.
Okay.
But kind of a spy thriller, espionage kind of thing. So,
good. Is that different from what you normally write?
It's the stuff I like to read, and right before I started this, I had just finished a really long project. A feature script. Was not enjoying writing it because it was for somebody else, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to just do something I would like to read and something I'd be passionate about writing, and
it's working.
It's working, yes. It's turning into much more than I thought it was going to be, but that's good. I've never had more fun creatively than
much more than you thought it would be, meaning the work or the fun?
Well, both actually. I started it as a script, and I'm like, I've just got too much story in my head, so let's turn it into a book. And from there, it has stretched. I'm finishing chapter 68 today, actually, and so it's
great.
Yeah, so it's very slowly turning into more than one book. And
because 68, I'm trying a lot of books that have that many chapters.
Well, even if they do, they don't have that many words. So I told myself, write it until it's done, and just have fun with the process, and I am. So.
And did you already know like the full story of it, or as you're writing, it's developing more and it's changing?
I've got a good friend by the name of Stan Williams. He's a script doctor. He's worked with Will Smith. He's done his own movies as a producer, and he says there are two types of writers. There are pantsers and there are plotters.
Okay.
The pantsers are the ones who write by the seat of their pants. They just dive in there, and whatever comes out, comes out. The plotters are the ones who plot everything out, have all the major points written down, and then they're ready to start writing.
Yes.
I'm kind of right in the middle. I have an idea of what I'm going to write. I know the major plot points, but then I discover stuff along the way. And so it's kind of
that sounds
a little
like
bit
a
out of both.
healthier place.
Yeah, and especially when you don't have any deadlines that you have to hit.
Right, so. Because that's kind of going with your creativity, yet you have a pathway of where you're going.
And it gives you the room to discover stuff along the way.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Are you allowed to say where you teach as well?
I teach at a number of places.
I only knew the one.
I teach at John Paul the Great Catholic University down in Escondido, California.
Yes.
And I also teach a couple of online classes, one for Lipscomb University out of Nashville.
Wow.
And then one for Regent University out of Virginia Beach.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Regent, isn't there one out here? Regent University?
Sometimes they have classes out here, but their main campus is there in Virginia Beach. So.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And so I teach entertainment law, and I've been doing that for, even before I moved out here, I was teaching that back in Omaha. So it's been something I've done for a long time.
Is that something that's changing so much? You have to stay up on that?
It's not that it changes all that much, but they're constantly looking at copyright. They're looking at, there's always the contract law that goes into it, First Amendment issues, privacy issues, defamation, all sorts of stuff that they're always constantly refining it a little bit. So to answer your question, yes, the law is always changing. You always need to keep abreast of what's happening. But it's an interesting area of law, at least for us creative types.
Yes. So. Well, and how everything helps with your profession. Acting and writing always helps. You've got the law aspect. So for creating films, you know all these things that the average person would not know.
Exactly. So
really good.
Yeah.
And so right now doing all of these things.
Yeah.
What do you find the most challenging, and what's the most fulfilling?
Doing all the things. There's just I'm interested in so many different things, so trying to cram them all into a week, let alone a day, is difficult. And so you really have to learn a sense of the rhythms of creativity. You have to figure out, okay, this is what's going on in life right now. This is what I need to focus on. And then in a different season, that fades to the background a little bit, and you focus on something else. But I think that's something all of us creative people can learn how to do.
Yeah. No, that's good. And you also coach. I call it a coach, but you counsel. I'm not sure how you say.
We call it creative consulting.
Consulting. I like that title.
Creative consulting, helping people through some of their creative blocks, helping them work on whatever project they're currently in the midst of. Just getting them to a place where they feel like they're making progress forward as a creative person. Sometimes that involves bringing in some of the business sides of things, or letting them know some of the legal aspects without actually being their lawyer, but it's an opportunity just to help people get some traction.
Right. So, and I sat down with you once.
Yes.
And so I can just see how that side of the brain, whichever side it is, that's the law.
Left side. Yeah, the left side.
The law side that's very organized and methodical, maybe that helps that creative side.
Yes.
And tempers that and organizes it.
Yeah, tempers is a way to put it. It's really each side should kind of boost the other.
Okay.
It should inform the other. So knowing what you can do legally helps provide a framework for what you can do creatively.
Right.
And vice versa. They're always playing off of one another, or they should be. And too many people are either one or the other. And it's an okay thing, but you have to then hire people to help you in the areas that you're not really versed in.
Yeah. Well, that's more the norm, isn't it? We're not all like you that have both sides working on full force.
Yeah. Well, and thank goodness for everybody who's not like me. Yeah, it's something that I enjoy both sides of it, but not everybody does. There are some people, and I think the most important thing is finding out who you are creatively, who you're created to be, what strengths you have, and really focus on those strengths every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's probably a nice outlet for you too, to meet with people and to counsel them.
Sometimes, yeah. Other times it's like there's no fixing your problems, but that doesn't happen very often.
Okay. Yeah. But that's a fun aspect of it too.
It is, yeah. I mean, just to help people figure out the puzzle.
Yeah.
Because sometimes creative people, all the time, creative people get themselves tied up in knots on their project. I do it myself. I'm not immune from that. So I have to be able to go find my mentors, find my creative mentors, and say, hey, this is where I am on this, and I'm stuck. And I think that's really important to have the humility to say, I don't know everything. And I think that art and creativity, and especially film and television, is a collaborative sport. We need one another. There's no doing it on your own, nor should you. It's not a healthy thing to always be doing your craft by yourself.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. And like you said earlier, when you have that limitation with the business aspect of paying someone to help you out, I mean, just like we do with paying for classes, or paying for a coach, paying for this service of consulting to really figure out. You said to take your project to the next level, or
or even to take it to the next level, to find a strategy for how to get it there. Some people are really good at strategizing, some people are not, and so if you're not good at that, or if you need somebody to look over your strategy, it's good to have an extra pair of eyes, or several extra pairs of eyes that can look at that and say, okay, in order to get to point Z down the road, here are your obstacles, here are the things that you need to overcome, here's what kind of plan you need to have in place, not only creatively, but business-wise. Do you have your company set up? Do you have, do you have your copyright registered with the Copyright Office? All these different things that, as creative people, we're content to leave it in the background and not think about, because we don't want to.
Right.
But it's still a really important part of the process.
It is. Yeah, it makes me want to sit down with you again. There's so much to figure out. And we recently were working on the greenhouse. So you didn't even talk about that aspect of your life. Wow.
Yeah.
So greenhouse, I'm going to get you in frame a little better. Greenhouse is, you founded it, yes?
Yeah. Back in 2007, the greenhouse got started. We started as just a handful of people, maybe 5 or 6 people in a church basement. And we just wanted to have a conversation about, what does it mean to be a creative professional? What does that look like to be a healthy creative professional? Somebody who is not just creative, but you've got the relational side down, you've got the financial aspects down, all the different parts of being a whole person, which feed into the creative aspect of who a person is. Yeah.
A healthy creative person. What's the healthy part?
Well, there's lots of different parts to it. I mean, there's the emotional side. As artists, we are way out of whack usually with our emotions, because our emotions shape what we think reality is. And sometimes what we need to do is get to a healthy place emotionally, so that our reality is informed by that health, as opposed to some of the out of whack emotions that all of us artists feel. And so learning what that means, what does it mean to be healthy emotionally, but healthy relationally? So the people around you, are you learning how to deal with conflict? Are you learning how to disagree on creative aspects? Are you learning how to give way when somebody has a better idea, humility, all the different parts of that. So health as an artist is every area of your life. It's not just that creative aspect. It's finding all the different parts and letting that inform who you are creatively.
And that was your goal in creating?
I don't know if that was the goal. That was definitely the conversation that was going on. We were recognizing, I and a couple of people who helped me get it started, we were recognizing the need for healthy community. In this town, everybody talks about, oh, I'm going to go networking and hand out business cards, but there's no real relationship that forms. So community is something that we take very seriously, because if you can have that, that deeper relationship where it's not just about what can you do for me, but more about how do we help one another? How do we have friendships? How do we honor the strengths in other people that maybe I don't have or you don't have, and finding out that really we can create something that's bigger than the sum of the parts.
Yes, absolutely. And you've said that in our class too. Of what can I do for you? What can I do to serve you?
Right.
It's not about, oh, how can I? What
can I get from you? Yeah. It's and I say this, and you've heard me say this in the creative lab at the greenhouse, is that your value as an artist, especially in the entertainment industry, is proportionate to your ability to solve other people's problems. Yes. So how do you look for those problems? How do you find those problems and use your own resources to serve other people? Yes. And by doing so, you make yourself indispensable.
Absolutely, because everyone's so unique in who they are and what they have to offer.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense. And so you mentioned, so that's Greenhouse, and then we have Creative Arts as part of
the Creative Lab is one of the programs.
Yes,
and
that's what I was just in. We're finishing up on Saturday, which would be tomorrow, our last class. Yeah. And I already talked about this with Karen Cavell.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was telling her about the class, which she was my last guest last week.
Very good.
And just how cool it is, and that I also got to do the writing aspect and to see how that process worked was great. But finishing up with the class, we get the film.
Right. Yeah.
So it's really neat to have that also as a gift. Not only just all the learning, the community, I really feel like it's been great. Yeah. Just in 4 weeks.
You get to know people and find out what they're like and learn to collaborate with them. And we've seen people who have gone through this program. And for your viewers, just a short synopsis of it. We take 12 actors and we take 6 writers. We partner up the actors with 2 per writer, and the writers have to write 2 short films, which you've done now. You've been on both sides of that equation. And it just becomes a really interesting environment of coaching and encouragement and finding where you're stuck and stretching yourself creatively. So I did kind of go through a journey with that. Yeah. With the last one of, do I just finish, not continue with this one and start all over again? And I had to push through that of, no, I'm just getting some feedback. I'm going to continue with it. There's enough here. You have to kind of find it within yourself. Of, there's enough here. I think this is good. Yeah. And then we also specifically write for those actors. Right. Which, I don't know if it's harder or easier, actually. It's harder because you have to identify the strengths of the actors that you've been assigned. Whereas you can, when you're just a writer, you can write a script and then you'll fill in who the actors are. Fill in the gaps, and hopefully some actor will come along that fits the role. But this is kind of the reverse approach to that, and it's learning to give writers, and I've written in this program as well, giving writers the opportunity to develop the eyes to see other people and to see what the world looks like around them. Yeah, it was a great journey. Good. Yeah, so I've enjoyed that a lot. And so at this time, are you looking to, or do you continue doing the consulting? So if someone's like, oh, I would love something like that. Yeah. Or are you like, I'm full? It is pretty full right now. If people want to get in touch with me, they can. Okay. How do they reach you? They can just get in touch with me through the Greenhouse website. So greenhouseproductions.com. It's got all my information there. They can email if there is time. Right now it's kind of full, but I'm certain that time will open up as we go along. So, okay, good. So people who are interested in that can contact you. Yeah. Greenhouseproductions.com. Yep. Okay, great. And with all your experience, everything that you've gone through, what would you offer as advice to someone who maybe is stuck or wants to
proceed to that next level,
Yeah.
whether it be writing or acting or direct. And he's also a wonderful director because he directed us too.
Yeah.
What advice would you have?
Boy, that is a tough one because there's so many ways to get stuck, and there's so many ways to well,
that's comforting to hear. Like it's a normal thing.
It is a very normal thing. It happens to me. I mean, I sometimes I'll reach the middle of a chapter on my book or on a script that I'm writing, or even as an actor, and just be like, I have no idea where I am right now. And it's learning to step back from it and say, okay, what is causing this? And that's where a coach comes in handy, a consultant comes in handy to help identify those things so that you can address the specific thing that has got you stuck. Right. Or if you're not stuck, maybe it's that it could be better than it is, and you're just not seeing it. Right. So, I mean, the important things are know yourself as a creative person. Right. What tends to be your hang up? What tends to get you stuck? I recommend that artists in general, spend a lot of time playing, which is not something you hear.
Like outside of the work? Outside of work. Something else for fun?
Because our art is informed by our play. Yeah. When you were a kid, you didn't have to work to be creative. It just came naturally because it came out of playing. And then you get into a professional world and playing sounds like a big no-no. But it is probably
time to play.
Yeah, right. And so, but it's probably one of the most important things that you can do
as
a creative person is get out there, do other stuff,
right?
Read the world around you, see how people react to one another. See that old couple on the corner that are,
gives you material.
It gives you material, and it expands who you are because we're drawing from the well of our own souls and our own memories. If we don't constantly fill that up with new experiences, then we become impoverished creatively. Right. And James Dean said, you can't rely on the experiences that life lays at your feet. You have to go out and find experiences. You have to go out and kind of grab life by the throat and shake it until it gives you some more than what you have naturally.
Yeah. I think enough comes to my life that I didn't seek this out, but it certainly is an experience.
Yeah, well, that happens too. Yeah, definitely.
Like I didn't choose those, but it sure added to life.
Well, and that's what you want. And and that's why relationship is so important because somebody else is going to have a perspective on all the different topics, politically, spiritually, relationally, that you're just not going to have on your own. You know, and you may have opinions, but to hear opposite sides,
so true.
Especially in our culture now that is so fractured and so over opinionated and so unwilling to listen to one another. We need that.
Yeah, it's so true. I think we get so busy that when I actually do have time for coffee with a friend, just to talk and listen, it's just such a nice, freeing, I don't know, it feeds the soul.
Yeah, we were built for that as people.
Yes,
that's how we were created. It's in our DNA. We are a social being.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean social media.
Social media is a misnomer. And we're finding that out more and more. Even the people from Facebook and Instagram and some of the other ones are saying, wait a minute, this is not healthy for our community. And they're trying to reverse some of the things that they have done to themselves and done to our society. Social media is not social. And it's almost not media. So it's like, what is this thing that we've done to ourselves? And learning to use it and at the same time not be dependent on it.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that sounds very, it's very simply said.
Yeah, and harder to do.
So full of,
because the temptation is just to click on Facebook and see if you've got that little number of notifications waiting for you and see if somebody's liked your stuff. And it's not the real world.
Right. And for me, it becomes this, it's not, it's fun and I really want to put all this out there. It's more of, I'm trying to keep on top of things, all the emails that keep coming, they don't stop one day that I'm gone working or, or playing or what have you. It's like, it keeps happening. And that's just one area. Yeah. Then you've got your, someone messaged me on Messenger. I haven't been on Facebook in forever. Okay, Instagram, but I haven't seen my other friends and their Instagrams and I want to heart them. Like this is content. Then, then there's a LinkedIn and then someone wants you on this one and it's become so much.
Right. And
what do you do with that?
it becomes obsessive easily, and they've built it that way, and they recognize that they've built it, that there is it's a feedback loop. You're getting this little dopamine rush every time you see that somebody has liked something, or
that does happen. I'm like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, or the opposite, which is, oh, nobody's
Nobody
liked this,
exactly.
or they've left a rotten comment, or whatever it may be, and suddenly we find that social media is leading us, that it's using us as opposed to us using social media. And so learning how to distance ourselves and use it as a tool without it becoming us becoming the tool of it, which is really how it's built.
So how to use it as a tool. They would sign up for coaching with you to learn how to do that.
So, yeah, I fall into it as well. That's a whole
other topic right there.
I could go forever. Yeah.
Well, that's good. That means you have a passion for helping people figure that out.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many. As I was, trying to clean up a little as you're coming, I thought, he could probably tell me how to get rid of these piles.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
Good. That's something that you don't do.
A clean desk is a sign of a disturbed mind. I really...
Oh, good.
Yes, there's something very freeing about things being clean, because then it doesn't
clutter
weigh on you emotionally.
Right. Yes.
There is also something to be said for the clutter.
Yes. I feel good about my clutter now.
There are some people who would very much disagree with me, but
yes,
it's if they looked at my desk, my two desks, which are both a mess.
That's it. Get a second desk to help you.
Yeah, you think that you could just move everything to the second desk, and that doesn't happen.
I have a book on decluttering, and I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
So miss all my books to read. That's the whole nother. I'm going to put a little list of these things that I struggle with. Well, thank you so much. So it's final, and I hope this is recording. I know it's recording here, but I'm trying to figure out how to put it on the YouTube, because this is a different way of doing it. So I hope that it works. But what final words would you have to share with someone who is just looking for one new thing in 2018 to kind of not re-identify themselves, but just to have that, kind of what you said before, play. But to have that kind of newness.
Oh boy, there's so many things we could talk about, but I'd say the first one that comes to mind is that fear is the enemy of creativity. And you can foster it in yourself. You can foster fear in yourself, the fear of failure, the fear of success, all fear of other people. You can also foster it in other people, put fear into their lives. And one of the things that we do at the greenhouse is we just remove fear as an element of the creative process, which is why it's so healthy there. And so if there's anything I could recommend to your viewers and listeners, I'd say just find the thing that you're afraid of this year and go do it.
One thing.
Start with one. Thing? But what you'll find, it doesn't have to be the biggest thing.
Okay.
And do it with wisdom. I mean, don't
just go crazy.
Don't go too crazy. Right. But learn.
Be like, but Shun Lee told me. Jump out of the
that's
plane.
Right. It's learning to identify the fears and say that fear is really just a big, ugly, hairy puff of air. It's not really there. It's not a reality. It's learning to walk through it. And then you're like, wow, I survived that. Yeah. Okay, well, what's the next thing I'm afraid of? I bet I could survive that too. And so I just recommend everybody find one of those things. We all have them. Even I have them. Is finding those things and then intentionally stepping out into the unknown. And that's when your creativity and life becomes an adventure.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you build that confidence.
Sure.
And that these things can't pull you down.
Yeah, and even when they do, because you will fail and you will fall down, but then you begin to see that failure and falling down is part of the process. It is not an obstacle. It is actually part of what an adventure is.
Right.
An adventure that doesn't have any sense of not knowing what's going on isn't an adventure. You know, it's just a vacation, and that's not what we're called to in this life.
To just vacation.
We weren't, you can have them every once in a while, but
okay.
But
even that's hard.
Yeah,
I went skiing for the day on Tuesday, and I came back. I'm like, I didn't get better. Now I'm even more behind.
Yeah, right.
So that's the hard part with the play.
Yeah, right.
But you have to enjoy.
But knowing how important that is to the process is really good. Yeah.
Good. Thank you so much for that.
You bet.
And thank you, Shun Lee, for being on Be My Guest. And for those of you who have learned something or appreciated something, please share with a friend. Lots of good stuff. And there's so much more, too.
Yeah.
That's why it's super hard for me to keep this so short, I'm telling you.
Always.
And be a blessing to all those around you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shun Lee.
Thank you.